One thing I forgot to mention, also that there's a little bit of a return of the Romeo and Juliet story from the first one, which I said didn't go anywhere. Here in the sequel, we don't get too much of it either. I mean, it's kind of this thing where they say, okay, we'll resolve it in the third movie, and that'll be that. Yeah, I just wish, just either cut it out or set it up, make it more, official, make it more essential to the plot. But they do neither, so whatever. Okay, so the caravan arrives at Helm's Deep, and we look at it. We take one look at it. We say they're not safe. Isengard. Saruman's army is raised. It's 10,000 strong. By the way, when we first see that, fantastic look to it. And it's just amazing still today to look back at that and say, oh my God, they've got a huge freaking army and they're ready to obliterate, So yeah, we don't feel that Helm's Deep is very safe. We think they're going to get obliterated, rightfully so. Okay, so then we get our first scene with Merry and Pippin, the first scene in a while, and this is, people have noticed, especially the first person I think of who definitely tackled the film for this actually, Roger Ebert. Notice that the hobbits, especially Merry and Pippin, are sidelined in the movie. The main point of the movie is Rohan and the fight, Rohan versus Isengard and the trio and how they fight. And the Battle of Helm's Deep is the majority of the last hour of the movie. So, and the setup and the preparations for it and the conclusions of it and everything is most of the third act and the third hour of the movie. Whatever, you know what I mean. The last part of it. So yeah, we definitely get. We wish there could be more, but we certainly don't want Pippin to screw things up too much. Just a thing. Okay, so we find out Aragorn is alive, and he's actually, believe it or not, kind of come to the help, thanks to from the help of his horse named Brego, which is not really important, but Brego and also Arwen, who he kind of dreams about, and that's the retelling of the Romeo and Juliet story, kind of. We see that we represent, and the audience as well, we all want Aragorn to come back. We all want him to step back up to the plate and lead this charge, because we know, flat out, if only Gimli and Legolas are there, they're going to take out a couple more orcs before Helm's Deep is blown to pieces. So we want Aragorn to come back. We want him to lead this charge, and so yeah, that's a good thing. Anyway, Sam and Frodo and Gollum are all captured, by the way, in that scene with the Oliphant. I didn't mention that earlier. I'm doing horrible here. But they're captured by Gondor warriors, including Faramir, who is the brother of Boromir, which puts a bad taste in our mouths right away, because we say, oh my God, it's the brother of Boromir. He comes from the same family. He's younger, he's probably more ambitious, more greedy, more warmongering, So that makes us say, oh my God, they're in big trouble. But they can't find Gollum. Gollum has wandered off. And there's two great scenes right back to back where we see Gollum. And just the motion capture performance by Andy Serkis, who of course would come back for King Kong a few years later and do just as great a job as King Kong. In Return of the King and in Two Towers, especially Two Towers, we see that his performance essentially is the key of the film. It's the make or break of this, especially in their part of the story in this film, where, if he would have failed, the movie would have just suffered. It would have been an okay middle chapter with a rousing conclusion and a spectacular beginning. So, yeah. But I don't know. It's something I can't explain about it, the performance, that makes it so spectacular. I don't know. But anyways, Faramir also is tempted by the ring, naturally, since his brother was as well, and we start to question, because even if it hasn't happened to Aragorn, are all men equally tempted by the ring? Of course, the elves always ponder over this stuff, and they forewarn men can never have the ring. Men are weak. They will be possessed by the ring. We start to think, because we realize right away, maybe Faramir isn't as bad as Boromir. But when he gets tempted and he's just about ready to take the ring and do what Boromir was going to do, but Faramir's closer, so he's more likely to succeed, we worry. We worry. We're like, oh my God, the elves are right. The men can never be trusted with this ring. And of course, how it's resolved is very good and everything. So yeah. But that's a close call there. We would hate to see that happen. And then finally, there's a scene here right before the third act kind of begins, before the battle begins, where Aragorn comes back and Theoden's talking about, in all the years that Helm's Deep has been our safe haven, it's never been breached and all this stuff. And Aragorn's kind of saying, man, what are you talking about? They're Uruk-hai, they're not orcs. They're bad guys. They're gonna break through this gate if we can't, through this keep, if we can't control it. And and there's kind of a cockiness, a slight cockiness to it, that Theoden doesn't hit him until it's way too late.